23 past the hour. Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, Republican Congressman Darrell Issa of California. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Mr. Chairman, thanks so much for being here. What is the likelihood if the Senate passes a clean bill today or tomorrow, the next couple of days, that the House will follow?
Apparently that's a deal breaker for Harry Reid.
Well, look, Harry Reid likes the idea that he's still in charge, apparently. The fact is that I do expect the possibility they pass a clean bill and toss it back to the House. The House believes very strongly when the president said that his actions that he's now taking, he couldn't take under the law,
right,
along with a federal judge, that we need to address that we can't have a president who says something's not legal, he doesn't have the authority, then have a federal judge agree with him,
right,
and yet he still wants to go ahead with it as we speak.
The president's obviously, Mr. Chairman, changed his mind, so what are you guys going to do if Mitch McConnell gets a clean bill through the House?
Look, we have a right to fund or not fund anything. That's every time somebody talks about a shutdown, they talk about the budget, they talk about everything. They always point to the power of the purse. Well, the power of the purse says we want you to do, and we will fund 100% of keeping America safe. We just won't fund visas and work permits for illegal immigrants. It's that simple. It's a pretty straightforward understanding. He has no authority to grant work permits. Therefore, we will not fund granting work permits for people who are unlawfully here. We're happy to do immigration reform, but we have to have a willing partner.
So is your analysis from where you stand right now that the House will not pass a bill that's sent over that doesn't defund this portion of the president's executive action?
Well, funding, and earlier one of your folks was saying that people would be working without pay. That's just not true. As you know, Joe, the fact is that in every shutdown or partial shutdown, 100% of federal workers have always been made completely whole. So they will all be paid.
I understand, Darrell. So I'm just asking, though. I'm trying to figure out and let our viewers figure out what's going to happen if the Senate passes a clean bill. Do you think the House passes a clean bill, or do you think that you guys will probably pass something that will require you guys to go to conference?
Well, I don't know if we'll go to conference, but right now the Speaker has said that he's staying with needing to make sure that the President's unlawful act is not funded. And I realize there's a federal judge in play, but again, the President would like funding for longer than that federal judge's stay may be in effect. Joe, if I had my druthers, I would pass the Gowdy bill and bring standing to the court, to us to go to the court and let the courts resolve it. Right now, that's not in the law, and the president is not likely to want to sign something that lets us go to court.
So, Darrell, I've got to ask this question. Last government shutdown obviously hurt the Republicans, if you looked at the polls right after. And I personally think it changed a lot of Republican primaries. You look at the poll numbers, it looks like the latest poll shows Republicans take the blame 2-1. Even if you think this is the right thing to do, is this a smart thing to do politically?
Class of '94, are you going to do the smart thing or the right thing? The fact is that we, like Winston Churchill, have to do what we think is right, and the consequences aren't always a positive election. But to do the right thing for the American people as best you can is what we're sworn to do, not to try to do what is politically expedient. I think we can get a deal, but the president has to be willing to at least stay for a period of time. This initiative that he only took on after the last election of his party during his presidency, he didn't take it on at any reasonable time in which the American people had a say.
Yeah. Well, class of '94, I can tell you, we charged up Pickett's charge several times. We were gunned down before we figured out there were smarter ways to do it. I'm afraid we helped re-elect Bill Clinton. Hey, Darrell, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your time. It doesn't look, Mika, right